Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel for another Beyblade video. Today, I'm going to be participating in a Hasbro only tournament whereby each player will play up to 5 games of Swiss. Games will lead up to 7 points, and those of whom who have accumulated the most wins will move on to the semi-finals. Now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, let's get into the video. When I got into the venue, it was somewhat packed. I think in total there are around nearly 25 to 30 people, and I'd seen some familiar faces but some new ones too. And since I've been going to these events regularly, I've been making friends and kind of like familiarizing myself with some of the people there. For this tournament, because it was Hasbro only, it meant that I was limited to Hasbro released parts. So my combo today was Wizard Rod on 960 ball, Phoenix Wing 360 taper, Tyranno Beat 560 rush, and for backup I had Shark Edge on 160 point. And the parts were interchangeable for Tyranno Beat and Shark Edge, but ultimately landed on the Tyranno Beat combo I used in the video. And here I am, I'm using a ripcord launcher as I think it's just a lot better in Hasbro stadiums. So for the clips that you're seeing right now, these are practice rounds so I can warm up. And I like to still launch hard, especially on Tyranno Beat on rush, and also for Phoenix Wing on taper, as the Hasbro stadium is so much smaller than the regular TT stadium that if you flat launch, you almost guarantee yourself a self KO. I'm currently on the left hand side in the clip, which is the side I actually dislike, but I'm trying to learn how to adapt to both sides, as you'll see later in the video. I don't have full mastery on both sides, but it's good to be versatile in what side you play on. So this is actually the prize for today's event, and shout out to, I believe, Felix for making this belt, and shout out to Will at BEYBLADE X Lab for hosting this event. Apparently, whoever places first will have temporary ownership of the belt until enough tokens are collected to challenge the champion, kind of like Battle Bladers from like MFB days. So this is my first matchup, and it's against Mons, who I previously lost to in a Europa tournament in the past, so let's see if I can redeem myself. To start off with, I'm using Tyranno Beat on 560 rush, and he's using Phoenix Wing. My Tyranno Beat came in with an aggressive flurry of attacks that luckily secured 2 points with a pocket, put me in the lead. In my second round, I'm using Phoenix Wing on taper, and I think he's using Tyranno Beat on taper as well. I believe it was super close, but I actually end up losing this matchup with the spin finish. So this is actually quite a boring matchup, with a mirror match being Wizard Rod on ball versus Wizard Rod on ball. And I'm using a ripcord and he's using a string launcher. And I specifically remember not getting a good launch in on this match. And this is something you can definitely tell as it becomes tied with a score of 2-2 at the end of this. When, like, in theory, my ripcord should have generated more power to outspin a string launcher. Because I think when you rip with a ripcord, it continues on. Like, the gears continue on spinning. Whereas with string launcher, it has a set, a set pull. Once you pull, it stops, once it reaches its limit. I start wobbling, and my only chance of winning would be to tilt him over, but sadly I was unable to this round. After shuffling my deck, I ended up going with Tyranno Beat as Hasbro Stadium's favourite attack types due to how small it is. Unfortunately, I actually ended up getting pocketed, so he was in the lead with 4-2. I come back though with a quick pocket, equalising the score. Luckily, pockets are worth 2 points and not 3 because he was so close to winning here, and I genuinely thought he had me. I thought I was going to lose to him again, and I could not have that, man. Since at this point he only needed 1 point, I anticipated he'd use Rod and countered with Tyranno for aggression over stamina. This gave me the upper hand because now that it was 6-6, I could use Rod to secure a spin finish. All in all, this was a very close round, and I got super lucky at the end there when I pocketed Rod, otherwise I don't think I would have won. I'm glad I did beat Mons though, as this was my personal get back when he beat me in the past, so after this I walked away having won my first match. After my match, I had time to kill, so I was just watching other people perform, and it's super cool checking out other people's launch techniques. Shout out to this blader, his name is called Alex, he's from the Philippines. If you didn't know, I'm half Filipino, and so is he, so it was actually just cool to root for each other in our games. And now this leads into my next match, where I'm actually playing Jess, who happened to win the national qualifiers tournament in my previous video, so it was super interesting facing her. I did make quick work of her blades though, with the final score at the end being 7-1. I definitely play a lot better when I'm on this side in comparison to the other side. I think I am still decent on the other side, but I think when it comes to this side, I'm marginally greater. Even though I'm using rod and ball, in Hasbro stadiums, ball behaves quite aggressively when hard launching, so you can actually see her Phoenix die to the pocket, but then it actually jumps out and revives. Rod and ball does this because the size of the stadium makes ball more susceptible to catching the X rail. After a reshuffle, I go with rod again. Even though rod is a bay primarily used for stamina, it still has great push factor because of how wide it is. To end this match, it was Tyrano beat on rush versus a Phoenix wing I believe also using rush. I got spin finish, meaning I won this matchup too, so that makes me 2-0 in my matches this tournament. Here I have some more clips appreciating other bladers' launch techniques. We've got Omani on the left, facing off against Gov on the right, two sick bladers who've been with Europa Gaming for a while. And you can't forget Jack in the middle, he's the one who's like judging the games right now. All three of these bladers made it really easy and made it just really welcoming into the community when I first got into like participating in these tournaments, so big up to them, like they're really cool guys. I'm now playing against the event host, Will, and he actually wanted to get revenge for Jess's loss against me, but I was pretty confident I'd win since I was playing on my preferred side this time. And I used Tyrano B and he used Drum Buster, and I managed to outspin him because Drum Buster is a little bit off balanced. And for this one, I think it's a Phoenix Wing matchup. He had the blue one, I had the red one, mine just got pocketed. And now we have a mirror matchup. I'm the yellow rod, he's the green one that just went flying, literally, so I think I got extreme finish for that. After a reshuffle, I thought I would try and go for an attack type because I was pretty sure that he would use Wizard Rod, but unfortunately I wasn't able to pocket him with how aggressive Tyrano Beat was this round. I was very close though, as you just saw right there, but that's okay because even though I think I get spin finished here, so he gets 1 point on me, it just means that next round I think I can use Wizard Rod instead. My Wizard Rod ends up bursting him right here, as you see right there. And it's once again Phoenix Wing versus Phoenix Wing. Let's see if I can outbeat him this time. Nope, I guess not. I got pocketed. But this is the final round and I'm using Tyrano Beat 560 Rush. Very solid choice. He's using Drum Buster, which is very risky because it's like a glass cannon. Luckily for me, the stability offered by Tyrano Beat on Rush manages to outspin the one-hit KO function of Drum Buster. Even though this wasn't my matchup, this was by far the most hyped battle, with Ray in the red shirt facing off against Shiva. Shiva was just giving off main character energy this whole time. We literally had to redefine the meaning of aura to Shiva. He was Shiva farming on Ray like the whole entire match. Everyone was so tense the whole time, all cheering every time Shiva won a match. Ray is like one of our top bladers, but even with that, he struggled against Shiva. I can't lie, this was actually one of the funniest experiences ever. Literally every single time Shiva won a point, everybody was cheering for this man. Hadn't figured it was like top 10 anime battles of all time. He was jumping up and down. Ray was literally on the verge of tears. Like, it was just beautiful, man. Look at Ray stressing. He was out here appealing left, right, and center. Even Omani in the background is gassed. Like, it was actually such a genuinely wholesome moment. I know Ray was crying on the inside, but literally nobody was cheering for him. Even if that was the case though, it's all just like vibes and we love Ray. But I can't lie. Man, fuck this guy, man. He ended up beating Shiva, bro. We don't rate that, man. Shiva should have won. Even though Shiva lost, he started celebrating, bro. It was actually so funny. And as for my next victim, matchup, I'm facing against Omani. And as you can see here, we played for rock, paper, scissors to decide what side to play on. But I ended up losing. I was absolutely distraught, but even so, I had to show him that I was capable of beating him even without the side preference. When playing on this particular side of the stadium, I like to tilt launch into the X rail, so that way I can launch at full power but also cause my bey to stagger, building up power for explosive attacks. Omani's actually too funny because before this he was actually chatting so much, but when it came down to it, he was pulling bird moments, dropping his launcher. You know, it was clear to see he was intimidated by me. Off camera, I know Omani was rejoicing after scoring one measly point on me, but to be fair, I feel like he could have pocketed me a couple times if he was using Phoenix Wing. Rod versus Rod matchup, but mine's golden, so it gets extra spin points. Nah, I'm just playing. But on a real though, I think I do end up getting the spin finish on him right here. The battle of the dinosaurs. My launch is quite aggressive, and so I think I managed to outspin him with just brute force alone after bullying his Beyblade. I had so many times where I genuinely thought I was going to get the extreme finish on him. I don't know how I didn't, but yeah, I ended up getting the spin finish right here. Even though I couldn't get the extreme finish in the last round, I did manage to right here with my Phoenix Wing. After getting that extreme finish on Omani, I actually had 7 points, meaning I'd also won that match, which meant that I was 4-0 for the entirety of the day. I had not lost a single matchup that whole entire time. There were 5 switch matches in total, of which 4 of them I'd won, and I was basically guaranteed a spot into the semi-finals at this point. My next matchup, on the other hand, did not go so well. I'm playing off against Jack, or Wicked Soul, who's consistently been topping in tournaments too, except he's placed first prior. At this point, both me and him were undefeated. Off camera, I actually was unsure of what side to play on, but I gave him first pick, and in hindsight, I really shouldn't have, because everyone has a side they're comfortable with, so my best bet should have been to play for the side he wanted, just to make him feel uncomfortable. I severely underestimated how well he plays on that particular side, and as you see here, me playing on the side that I play on, I'm not good enough to be able to compete with the side that he plays well on, so I end up losing this whole entire matchup 7-0. So at this point, I'm literally undefeated. And then as soon as I played against Jack, I got destroyed, man. Even though I did face a defeat, I still managed to top in the top 8, so I get called up for the semi-finals in the following clip that you're about to see.
I'm going to call out the top 8. So in 8th place, we have Govind. Come on. In 7th place, we have Yondo. In 6th place, we have Nissi. In 5th place, we have myself. In 4th place, we have Jack. In 3rd place, we have Omani. Come on! In 2nd place, we have Biscuit Boy. And in 1st place, undefeated, we have Wicked Soul.
So first round of the semi-finals, I'm once again playing against Omani, and once again, I'm on the side I don't want, and I don't have practice with. And I actually did buy a Hasbro Stadium the day prior to this event, meaning I don't have too much practice on it as of now, but hopefully soon I'll have mastery over both sides. But here you can see I'm using gold rod, he's using standard rod, both on ball, so let's see who wins. My gold rod takes the first win with a spin finish. Up next again, I'm facing off against Tyranno Beat versus Tyranno Beat. And we both massively tilt launch, as you can see right here. I tried to tilt launch as much as possible, and it works to my advantage. As you see, I just pocketed him right there. I'm currently in the lead, 3-0 up, but after this, I believe he burst me, which now puts it at 2-3. where it's a lot closer than it should be. I can't lie, at this point I think I was a little bit stressed because I did not expect him to then just extreme dash me right off the bat like that. So at this point I was a little bit scared, I'm not gonna lie. And I was scared for good reason, because right after this he manages to pocket me. But you know what, props to Omani, such a sick blader, man. He's really good at Beyblade. Sometimes banter about him being kind of trash, but he has his moments every now and then, and this is definitely one of them. I had 3 matches in total for the semi-finals, and I'm about to proceed on to the second matchup, and if I win this, then I'm basically guaranteed a spot in the top 4. And once again, I'm up against Will, who'd been doing amazing today, but even though he was running Rod on ball, I luckily popped him. Rod versus Buster, and it seems Buster is about to KO me straight off the bat. Phoenix Wing on Taper is actually one of the combos I used to use on my old meta team, with Taper being one of my favorite bits. I'd arguably say it's underrated, as most bays I see in tournaments typically use rush or low rush nowadays. Just very aggressive bits which can use self KOs when used incorrectly, whereas with Taper it's great for tilt launching and for its stamina. Talking about stamina, Wizard Rod on Ball is great for stamina, but at the same time, because of the Hasbro Stadium, has great attack power. This is the final round in this matchup, and as you can see, I do manage to take the victory, which now means that I have won 1 game in the semi-finals and lost 1 game. After my matchup, I went over to go check out what Omani and Jack were doing and see how their games go. And for my final matchup in the semi-finals, I'm then playing against Jack T, who I've actually never beaten in a tournament setting before. And it's so annoying because I didn't beat him here either, so he ends up pocketing me right there. But to be fair, in this, I do end up like bursting him right off the bat, so evening up the score, making it a little bit more fair. He's really good on Tyranno beat, and I think right here he's using Rush and I'm using Phoenix Wing on Taper, and my bay literally just gets flung, like it basically just, yeah. I do come back though, because right here, I then proceed to go fling him into a pocket, so far it seems that the score is really neck and neck. We were actually talking about how every single time we fight, it's always very close. Me, Jack, and the other Jack, we all have very similar launches, very similar play styles, so whenever we do fight, in general, I would say it's quite close. Except from when I did just play against Wicked Soul, because I got absolutely destroyed in that battle, so we do not talk about that. I don't know what was up with my Phoenix Wing, but I literally get burst right off the bat, which sucks, but you know, we move. So I did actually make a little bit of a gamble here, because I knew that it was shuffle deck, which meant that we could pick out any Beyblade of our choice that we have in our deck. And since he only needs 1 point, I knew he would try to use Wizard Rod for that spin finish. So I tried gambling by using Tyranno beat and playing as aggressive as possible to try and get that 2 points, either from a burst or a pocket or even extreme finish. But unfortunately, it did not pay off for me this time. I ended up losing, which meant that he won. But it's still cool because I'm guaranteed a spot in the top 4. So after this matchup, it was then time for the finalists, but during that time, I was practicing a little bit on the Beyblade Hasbro Stadium with Nissy, and he's using Shelter Drake. I used Phoenix Wing straight off the bat. He did some special move, jumped up in the air, and then flung me into a pocket. That was crazy. Now after this, since this is a practice round, I did use my Cobalt Drake, which is my go-to. I'm using it on 960 low rush, and I definitely say it's my favorite Beyblade in the Hasbro Stadium for attack types. And I even get like a little jump shot right there, which I think is so insane.
Jack versus Jack, showdown. Who's the better Jack? Exactly, man. It actually should have been us, bro.
Should have been us, man.
Should have been us, bro. Should have been us. Exactly, man.
I love you, man.
I want me to win.
Come on, Jack. Come on, Jacks.
Come on, Jack. I believe in you, Jack. Jack squared.
Come on.
Be playing the entirety of their matches, but Jack, also known as Wicked Soul, is the one using Phoenix Wing. He was the Jack standing on the right hand side, and he actually ends up winning this whole entire match, as you can see right here. So props to him, an amazing blader. I definitely need a rematch though when I play against him. I've not really properly played against him in tournament settings using meta beys, but you know, hopefully one day.
Should have been me, bro. Should have been me, man.
After that, first, second, third and fourth places then get called up for their prizes.
And then fourth was Harry, right? Yeah, I think so. Jeez. Come on. And you get a random part.
A random part. Okay.
Because I was fourth place, I got the choice of picking a random part and I ended up picking up a blade. Here's a picture of the top 4 finalists. I'm on the very, very left. And with that comes the conclusion of this video. Please leave a like and subscribe. And also a comment would be greatly appreciated. Just letting me know what you liked and disliked about the video, what I could improve. Every little helps. And if you like Beyblade content, please make sure to check out my videos more in the future. And that's all I really have to say. So thank you very much for watching.